An unexpected over-the-road opportunity. I'm going to talk about that on this segment of the Get Geezer. If this is your first time checking out the Get Geezer, if you're a returning visitor of the Get Geezer, thanks for coming by. And if you would not mind, hit that subscribe button. Give my content a thumbs up. Share my content among others, and I definitely welcome comments in the section below. Today is Tuesday evening, May 7, 2024. I am traveling southbound on I-95, heading to Miami, Florida. As you can see here, I'm passing by this tractor trailer. And the reason why I'm heading to Miami, Florida is because of, I guess because of an unexpected turn of events. Now, how did that happen? I started the day, obviously out of Columbia, doing some local opportunities. I had two catering opportunities. One that paid $42 rounded up, the other one paid $30 rounded up. And then I had a DoorDash order that I completed that paid $12.25. Around mid-morning, somewhere around about 11 o'clock or so, when I was about to pick up the second catering opportunity, I made a broker whom I tried to reach yesterday about a brokered opportunity that was originating from Spartanburg going to Atlanta. I text messaged him about it, but he never got back with me. But he got back with me today, and that opportunity that showed up on the load board out of Spartanburg was actually is the same one, but it is originated out of Greer. So the broker got back in contact with me, and he said, we have an extra run going from Greer to Atlanta, $400, usual number. Difference is that it was going to be a 180-mile trip because there are two stops involved, similar to one that I documented in this segment of the Get Geezer, in which I would pick up in that area. Last time was in Duncan, but then I would stop off in the Atlanta area, near the airport area, at a cartage place and pick up the airline documents. Now, along the way to Greer, I actually picked up on a gig app opportunity that took a pallet from Lexington to Greenville. So for about 30 minutes, I had two pallets in the van. That Lexington to Greenville run paid $152 and change. So it didn't interfere with the Atlanta run, because in fact, the way it's set up, I picked up, had the guy to reposition the pallets to where the Lexington pallet will be dropped, the Lexington to Greenville pallet will be dropped off first, and then the pallet that's positioned right in back of me now going to Atlanta, at least originally. It turned out, as I got to that Lexington drop-off, I got a call from the broker, and he explained to me that there was a situation involving his customer. He explained to me that the cargo that I'm to drop off in Atlanta at Delta would not get, ultimately the cargo would not get to its final destination, which is Brazil. It would not get there when it's supposed to. And so the broker posed to me, hey, if you got two choices here. You can just drop off in Atlanta and get paid what you're going to get paid, and they'll arrange for a box truck, or you can go to Miami. And the guy asked me, well, while I'm at it, what's your number? And I was thinking 1,000. He posed 1,000. So altogether, I'm getting $1,400 going to Miami. So you ask then, how many miles are involved? Well, if I go loaded miles from Greenville to Miami, it's like 735 miles. If I tack on the money that I had already earned kind of concurrently from Lexington to Greenville, you tack that $1,500 on top, I basically cover all my miles from Columbia to Greer to Greenville, and then traveling to Miami and back. That's a good situation, I think. but it's unexpected. I didn't think that I would be doing this. So, as it is now, I am about 57 miles from the Georgia border along here on I-95. My first planned full stop is going to be in the Savannah area, probably Pooler, but Savannah, Pooler, Georgia area. And what I'm looking to do, I've kind of thought ahead on this. Drive from Savannah to West Palm Beach. That's what I'm looking at. Because from Savannah to Daytona is 230 miles, but if I go from Savannah to West Palm Beach, that's like 430 miles, and that should be one tank. Now, my original tank topping off occurred in Columbia, and I'm still on my initial tank. In fact, I got about, as of this documentation, about 125 miles left, and I've put in right at about 375 miles, and I'm just hitting a quarter tank. So I'm really looking at gas mileage, and calculating rate times time equals distance, among other things. I feel like a NASCAR crew chief, or even an IndyCar crew chief, as I've been calculating fuel consumption here. The next, so then if I stop in West Palm Beach, I would be looking to stop again on the way back in Daytona, and then from Daytona, I should be stopping there. Once I stop in Daytona, that should get me back to Columbia. So that's what I'm looking at. So what I'm doing on this particular segment of the Gig Geezer is really kind of taking y'all along. As you can see here, I just passed mile marker 55, so I got about 55 miles left to Savannah, or Georgia border. And I guess what I'll do is document stopping in Savannah, document stopping in West Palm Beach. At least that's what I'm planning to stop. And go from there. I'll also document once I'm in Florida, once I'm in South Florida. One last thing. Now, South Florida is an area that is somewhat familiar to me. I lived in South Florida 35 years ago. In fact, that's after finishing school, Texas Southern. I worked at a couple of newspapers in Texas, and then I got an opportunity in Boca Raton, Florida. And I worked in Boca Raton for 16 months before I got I caught an opportunity in Richmond, Virginia. And when I was in Boca Raton at the time, I covered the Miami Hurricanes, I covered LPGA golf, I covered PGA golf, I covered the PBA, I covered horse racing, covered the Breeders' Cup. I covered a lot of stuff. Hell, I even covered the disgraced Lance Armstrong when he was doing triathlons as a teenager, before he had attained his perceived fame, with the Tour de France. So yeah, I'm not gonna say that I have good memories of South Florida, but it is a place that was a destination point in my days as a newspaper reporter. I probably won't be doing this for the other stops though, but since this is the first scheduled stop, I went a bit longer than I anticipated, probably another 30 miles. And when I get to the gas station, I'm probably gonna have about 17 miles left on my tank. So that's really pushing it though. But I've got over 450 miles on this tank, and that's pretty good mileage for a van that had as much as 1,300 pounds in it. And so that's pretty good. And again, I started out this morning putting, what did I put in the tank? I topped off the tank with $30. I believe that I put this morning I put in 25, then I put 30. So I topped off this tank with about somewhere about $55. And now I'm about to fill up really for the first time today. And again, this first tank got me from Columbia to Greenville, and then back over here just outside of Savannah in Richmond Hill. So that's pretty damn good. Now, again, my next planned stop is going to be West Palm Beach, about 425 miles away. And that's, if I drive straight through, which I'm not, is about a good six and a half hours away. But it's gonna be one of those play it by ear type situations in which I know that Daytona is a place that I would consider stopping, but also anywhere in between Daytona and West Palm Beach is what I'm looking at. I've given myself driving until 1 a.m. and then give myself until 1 a.m. and then I'm gonna make every effort to shut it down. And what you see here is my stopping in Daytona Beach. Actually, this is my second consecutive stop. I stopped at the previous exit to go and get something from Wendy's. I am known to not eat much when I'm driving, but I'm doing it this time because I had not ate all day. And so this second stop is more of a partial pit stop at Bucky to get something to drink and kind of get my senses aligned to finish out at least what I'm going to do this evening. It's going on 11 o'clock. I said 1 o'clock is going to be kind of my deadline. And that's what I'm still looking at. If I go 1 o'clock, it's gonna give me about 140 miles, and that give me about 70 miles outside of West Palm Beach, and then about 145 miles from Miami Airport. So, but with respect to now with my fuel consumption, it's gonna be similar to when I stopped in Savannah. I'll probably be at about 50 miles left if the gas holds up, but we shall see. Now, I actually turned off on LPGA Boulevard, so this is where the World Golf Hall of Fame is located, I believe. And this is also where the LPGA headquarters is located as well. Again, now, when I worked in Boca Raton, Florida, many decades ago, one of the things I covered was the LPGA and the PGA. Even though I did not play golf, I covered both. I covered both pastimes. Now, what I do recall from the Florida, what I do recall from covering the PGA, I covered the Doral Ryder Open, and the year that I covered, Greg Norman won it in a playoff. But I happened to run into my high school classmate, Duffy Waldorf, James Duffy Waldorf. Now, Duffy was a good player in high school. He was actually our fullback on our football team, and a classmate of mine, literally a classmate of mine. And I ran into Duffy after he completed a round, and I said, "Duff, hey man, how's things going?" And we got to talking. He says, "You look familiar, but you're a lot taller." And then he told me whom he hung around with, who he still is in contact with. In fact, this is a picture of Duffy about 10, 12 years ago at in promotion of a senior tour event in Boca Raton, Florida. All right, it is about 6 hours, almost 6 hours later. I am getting on. I just got back on the freeway a few minutes ago, where I had stopped off in Fort Pierce to rest and freshen up. And now I'm actually stopping, I think, near Port St. Lucie to fill up. Now this is before West Palm Beach by about 50 miles, but I'm well within the corridor of where I wanted to be in terms of putting money in the tank. So from here it's about 125 miles to the first stop that I need to make in the Miami area. And after that, once I get the cartage paperwork, then I can go over to the air cargo area and drop that off and possibly look for something in Miami heading back up towards Georgia or South Carolina. If not, I'm still looking to get on the road to head back to South Carolina. One thing is for certain, I am not looking to do over the road as with some people. This is just not my preference. I think over the road definitely has to be one's preference, where they're willing to be out for days and possibly weeks at a time to make the money that they make. Again, this just happened. This happened upon me yesterday, where I had the option to just stop off in Atlanta and head back to South Carolina, but for another grand, I guess I had my price, another grand, to go from Greenville then to Miami. I think one thing that has helped me so far with this trip is the fact that I'd gone down this way back in January. And then when you think about the other trips that I made to Texas last year, I've got some long miles behind me. All right, so it's almost 7:30, and I'm probably less than 5 minutes away, at least what it appears to be, from arriving at the air cartage place, to get the air documents. Definitely, I don't miss South Florida. I do not miss South Florida. And I guess what helps me out, though, in dealing with the traffic, though, is driving through Atlanta. But I'm just here to drop off this pallet that's in back, and then it's back up I-95. So I'll pick up this once I've gotten the air documents, and then from there we'll be going to the cargo terminal. All right, I've got airline documents in hand, and now I'm heading over to the American Airlines cargo warehouse terminal. It should take me probably in upwards of 15 minutes because of the lights and traffic. Although traffic is moving much better than it was when I was coming in to the cartage place. So we're on the final straightaway of this Greenville to Miami brokered opportunity. All right, so we're done. We're now heading back to South Carolina. That was quick work of unloading that pallet that actually weighed officially just a tick under 740 pounds. And it's going to Brazil. In fact, it's supposed to arrive in Brazil sometime tomorrow evening. That run there was my largest paying so far of the year, and it is my second largest paying brokered opportunity since I've begun ownership and operation of a Sprinter / cargo van. Wrapping up the numbers so far, at least in terms of putting gas in the van after leaving Colombia. I don't count before leaving Colombia because I had no idea that I would be doing a brokered opportunity. But en route to Miami, I stopped twice and I spent $152.75. I'm likely to spend another $70 to $80 once I stop in. I'm thinking it's going to be Daytona because from the airport to Daytona is 266 miles, and I'm projecting to have about 100 to 125 miles left in the tank once I reach Daytona. So altogether, I'm anticipating, but the final number will be right here, spending somewhere in the neighborhood of about $235 on gas. Now, I normally don't even mention anything about how much gas spent at all, but I'm going to do that for the sake of this particular segment of the Gig Geezer. As I mentioned, I don't count food because I don't even count it with my taxes. So that's something that's a non-issue. That's a non-starter for me. So altogether, including the gig app opportunity that took me to Greenville, and paired me with the load that I picked up in Greer, I earned over $1,550. And if I subtract the $235 that I project for gas, I still cleared over $1,300. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. So before I finish up with this segment of the Gig Geezer, I have been active scouring the load boards and the gig apps. The gig apps have not tickled my fancy one bit. The offers that I've seen, nothing that I would even consider. For example, there was one for like $52, and they want somebody to move 3,400 pounds, and I believe the distance was like, it was 3,400 pounds. It was paying $50. Enough said right there. Not something that I'm going to jump on. Brokered opportunities. I thought I had one. It was from Hialeah, which is probably about 25 minutes from this very spot, going up to Stuart, Florida. That was about 105 miles. The broker was initially offering $225. I told him I was looking at $325, and we kind of agreed on $280. But then he told me I need to check something with the customer, and he asked for my phone number. Never got back with me, and then I noticed the load was no longer out there. It could have been two things. At least this is just me talking and me talking only. It could have been that the customer covered their own load. That happened. At least that's what is said sometimes by the brokers, and it could very well have been the case. The other possibility is that the broker didn't want to give up that type of money, and so he kind of did a head fake, telling me that he called me back and took the next call, and someone agreed to $225 or something less than what I'd agreed to. Those are the two possibilities that I'm thinking of, but that's just my talking. So I'm done, at least for now. If there happens to be something that catches my attention on the way back, I may update, or I may save it for another segment of the Gig Geezer. But for all intents and purposes, this is a wrap. So, if you like the content that's been provided in this segment of the Gig Geezer or in any other segment of the Gig Geezer, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. I'm in Wood Lane as always. May your grind and may your hustle continue.